This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
One of the GOATs of West Virginia Mountaineer football has hung up his cleats. We're talking about none other than Tavon Austin, otherwise known as Tavon Awesome, has officially retired from football. In this episode, which is brought to you in part by BetUS Online Sportsbook and Casino, we are going to talk about the greatness of Tavon Austin, his career stats, some of the highlights of his career, and the impact he made on West Virginia Mountaineer football. And we're going to do that right after this word from our channel sponsor. Since 1931, the attorneys at Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner have been the voice for victims who have suffered serious injury or death. They have a fierce passion for truth and justice and a sincere compassion for those who have been wronged by others. Whether you have been in a car accident or fighting with an insurance company, or you or a loved one has suffered serious injury or death due to medical negligence, we will ensure your voice is heard loud and clear. Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner will ensure there is justice for all West Virginians because we are your lawyer, your voice. Visit us at yourlawyeryourvoice.com. What is up? Come on in to another episode of Couz's Corner. Make yourself comfortable. Belly yourself up to the bar. Let me pour you out this shot of top shelf college football content. On tap in today's episode, we're talking about Tavon Austin, arguably one of the greatest football players to lace them up in Morgantown. I would say he belongs in the conversation to be on the Mount Rushmore of West Virginia Mountaineer football players. You let me know in the comments, do you think he deserves to be in that conversation? When you look at the impact he made on the program, you look at the fact that he has one of the most watched highlight tapes of all time. Duggity Doug on YouTube. Go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description box. Duggity Doug put out a highlight video of Tavon Austin's highlights at West Virginia. It has been viewed over 24 million times. That's right, 24 million. That video alone has helped West Virginia in recruiting. Even the players today who were very young when he played at West Virginia, even those players know who he is. He's some of them have him as their favorite player, their hero, the one they aspire to be like. Jaheim White even changed his number to 1 this year. Is that because of Tavon? Don't know, but I guarantee you it probably had an impact. So his impact on the West Virginia Mountaineer football program, to me, means he should be in that conversation as one of the Mount Rushmore people, one of the Mount Rushmore players of all time at WVU. Or WVU. Let me say that properly. WVU. Sometimes the hillbilly dialect comes out in me, right? But anyway, I think Tavon deserves to be in that conversation. And you compare that with his stats at WVU, I think it supports it. Now, many will argue that he didn't live up to the hype as far as his NFL career. He was a number 8 pick in the 2013 draft. Very, first-round pick, top 10 pick. And his career stats in the NFL, which we will go over later, don't exactly match up to that. But he dealt with injuries throughout a lot of his career. He had some setbacks, may have been put into the wrong system with the wrong coaching staffs and things like that throughout his career as well that impacted it. But I think when you look at Tavon Austin overall, he has had a very successful career. Number one, most people aren't first-round draft picks. Number two, most people don't earn over $40 million in their career, which is what he's done. And most people don't get to play 10 years in the NFL, which he did. So I think, overall, Tavon had a pretty darn good career, better than most, actually, especially when you consider the average career of an NFL player lasts, I think it's 2.5, 3 years, something like that, the statistics say. But especially when you focus on his impact at WVU, I think there's no way he's not one of the greats. Now let's look at his stats at WVU. From 2009, where he started and caught his first touchdown pass for former quarterback Jarrett Brown, through 2012, when he was catching passes from Geno Smith. Here are his stats. He caught 288 passes, which is number 1 in the history of West Virginia football, for 3,413 yards, again, number 1 in the history of West Virginia football. Averaged 11.9 yards per catch for 29 touchdowns, which is good for 3rd all-time among WVU receivers. He also carried the ball 110 times for 1,033 yards. A lot of that came in that game against Oklahoma. Remember that game when Dana Holgorsen put Tavon Austin at running back and he rushed for over 300 yards in a single game? It might be the greatest individual performance I've ever witnessed by a person. Now, they unfortunately lost the game because West Virginia struggled on defense that night and couldn't stop the Sooners. And the Sooners ended up getting the ball last is really the reason they won. But Tavon Austin had one of the individual performances of a lifetime, man. I mean, college football fans across the country were amazed by that performance. Unforgettable. He could make people miss in a phone booth. Just his ability to make people miss is unlike any I've ever seen, and we may never see it again. Let's be honest, at least, especially as Mountaineer fans. He could be a once-in-a-generation athlete, okay? Now, again, he averaged 9.4 yards per carry. That's pretty remarkable with 6 touchdowns. And you look at his career as a kickoff and punt returner, which this is really where he made this is probably where he made his money in the NFL. In his career at college, he returned 97 kickoffs, number 1 at West Virginia, 2,407 yards, number 1 at West Virginia, 24.8 yards per return, 4 touchdowns, tied for number 1 at West Virginia. He also returned 34 punts for 433 yards and another touchdown. So overall, very, very, very good career at West Virginia. Heck, he even had 4 tackles on defense and fumbles during his time at West Virginia. So just a remarkable career by Tavon Austin at West Virginia. Again, the highlight tape with over 24 million views. Just the visibility he's helped bring to West Virginia football. And also want to take this opportunity to remind you that if you're looking for a brand new sports book to place your online betting, look no further than BetUS. Check out the link in my description box to place your bets, and on your first 3 bets, you will get up to 125% bonus, up to $2,000. So, again, if you're looking for a brand new sports book, look no further than BetUS. Check out the link in the description box or in the pinned comment below. Sporting News did a really good article about Tavon, and I recommend you go check it out at sportingnews.com. But they did a really good article about Tavon and his career. When you look overall, here's what they had to say about his college stats. It says Austin attended the University of West Virginia, which should be West Virginia University, I might add, for 4 seasons, playing for the Mountaineers from 2009 to 2012. During his time in college, he received 2 first-team All-American selections, twice was named a first-team selection for the conference in 11 and 12, and also won Special Team Player of the Year for the conference both seasons. His outstanding versatility made him much-watched television, even though West Virginia's best finish during his time was an Orange Bowl win in 2012. So, again, multiple honors he received during his time at West Virginia. Now, when you look at his pro career, he was drafted number 8 overall by the Rams in the 2013 draft. While he may never have quite lived up to his draft placement, he still enjoyed a successful career. Over the course of 9 seasons, Austin amassed 2,239 receiving yards on 244 catches and 16 touchdowns. He was a versatile option, repeatedly taking handoffs and using his speed on the ground game, as well as being used as a punt returner. Now, here's his stats as a return man, which wasn't mentioned there. He returned a total of 190 punts in the NFL for 1,483 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also returned 25 kicks for 451 yards. So Tavon had a remarkable career, especially as a return man at both the college and the pro levels. So to me, when you combine all of these things, he's going to go down as one of the most successful players to ever come out of West Virginia football. I don't think it's even arguable. So hat tip to Tavon Austin. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the time you spent in Morgantown. And hey, if you happen to be watching it, it'd be a dream of mine to have you on my show. Come on, open invitation. Also want to give a shout out right now to my VIP channel members of this episode. They are WVU Earl, Oaksters Live, TS, and Chris D. Thank you for your generosity. If you want to be a member of the channel, hit the join button below or go to my channel homepage. Right beside my profile picture is a join button. There's also a link in the description box. You can also support my channel here by hitting the thumbs up button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Share this with your family and friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Help me get to that next magic number of 10,000. It would really be much appreciated. You can also check out this video in the top corner of your screen right here about West Virginia football. Until then, have a top shelf day and cue country roads.